Chapter 1. The Forest of Beginning. Underneath the ever-charming blue sky, a girl was running in a forest, chasing after her partner in the distance. Kissed by the sun was her hair, resembling the shy autumn. The girl was exhausted, very much so. Her legs felt tight and heavy, her lungs were burning hot, screaming and begging for more air, and her head pounded like war drums. Beads of sweat flowed down on her neck, drenching her back. She wanted to catch up with the white wolf, but alas, her body had failed her. Her feet got heavier by the second, as if she was running through mud. Finally reaching upon her limit, the girl stumbled back, landing squarely on a damp tree, catching her much-needed breath properly. "Damn me! Damn these legs!" complained the girl, panting between her breath. The white wolf, her partner, noticed the peculiarity and turned back, closing in on the frustrated girl, who couldn't seem to decide whether she would like to vent out more, or to save her breath. Studying the approaching figure, the girl reasoned. "Filthy Arn, as you can see, I'm not exactly the best runner in the forest, and there's only so much I can do with one good arm. Luckily, I have you with me. So, if anything unwanted happened like just now, I'll be counting on you." Flowing with newfound resolve, the girl and the wolf ventured deeper into the forest. Knowing her limitation a little bit better this time around, the ginger-haired girl began to rely more on her head. Carefully fishing upon her much-dreaded collection of memories from when she trained, the girl tried to recall the way to make a trap. She was blessed with a good head above her shoulder. In fact, one might say she was brighter than her peers. But there was just something about remembering how those knots worked that eluded her so, she simply couldn't figure them out for the love of her. But where she lacked the necessary talent, the girl was able to compensate it with enough effort. After a long, painstaking hours of scouting and preparations, they were able to find a sweet spot to trap their prey. And thus she began to set down the crude-looking trap and proceeded to climb the tree just beside it. With her hiding high on the tree, and the wolf prowling on the nearby bushes, the two waited for their prey in the daunting silence. And came it was. A brown rabbit, with a long curved horn and claws as sharp as knives. The girl with mismatched irises gulped dry at the sight, calming her raging nerves. Fortunately for her, she didn't have to wallow in anxiety for too long, since the sight of the ripe and juicy berries were tempting enough in the rabbit's eyes. No longer cautious, overridden by the impulse to wet its mouth by the berry's sweet and fulfilling juice, the rabbit hopped unsuspectingly into the trap. The sticks underneath it broke, unable to support the rabbit's weight, and down the hole the rabbit goes, plunging into the shallow pot that the girl dug with much effort. With one swift movement, the girl leapt down from her cover, gripping hard the long vine on her hand. Following her descent, a web of entangling vines hugged the rabbit tight and catapulted high into the air. Dangling away from the ground and panic-stricken, it didn't take too long before the rabbit bloomed with rage and began thrashing madly. The girl steeled her heart, reaching for her power that lay dormant within her very soul, that merciless and cruel power, condemned by the rest of the world. That so-called magic that left nothing but ashes of destruction in its wake. She closed her eyes, and reached out for it. Or at least tried to. She couldn't do it. Images of the forlorn tragedy kept playing inside her head, jumbling her thoughts into one chaotic mess. She quivered weakly like a newborn foal, unable to take hold of her turbid heart. Gritting her teeth and clenching hard, the girl tried to expel all the bad thoughts away. She wanted to excel beyond her pain, not to keel hopelessly beneath it. However, time was not on her side. On the short window where she was lost in her inner struggles, the rabbit had almost break free. Gnawing and slashing, the horned rabbit did everything in its power to cut the stubborn vines that entrapped it whole. And just as the rabbit was second away from tasting freedom and stab a fresh hole upon the girl's tender gut, the white wolf came into the fray. He howled long and deep into the vast horizon, eyes gleaming in a mythical purple glow, as if calling on to the ancient magic that had been sleeping for eons. The wolf grew in size, reaching up to the girl's chest. The surroundings' temperature rose exponentially as embers of flame sparked into a dancing coat of blazing fire, hugging the wolf tightly and jubilantly as though it had a mind of its own. He swooped in, jumped and found the rabbit clean in the neck. The torn vines burned to ashes in a matter of seconds, leaving but a scorched paw marks in his trail. It was over in the blink of an eye. Not even the girl herself could fully wrap her head around on what had just happened. All that was left was the cute wolf who had turned back, tilting his head to the side as he eyed the girl in cheerful manner. "We still have a long way to go." "We both do." The girl sighed weakly at the sight of the burned carcass on the dusty ground that gave a striking resemblance to that of a charcoal.